The Black Bull of Norroway. Today's classic tale is from the Blue Fairy Book, a collection of tales assembled and translated by Andrew Lang, published in 1889. And many a hunting song they sung, and song of game and glee. Then tuned to plaintive strains their tongue, of Scotland's Louvre and Lee. To wilder measures next they turn. The black bull of Norroway. Sudden the tapers cease to burn. The minstrels cease to play. The Coot of Kielder, by J. Leyden. In Norroway, Langside, there lived a certain lady, and she had 3 doctors. The oldest o' them said to her mither, "Mither, bake me a bannock and roast me a collop, for I'm gone hour to seek my fortune." Her mither did say, and the doctor garred hour to an old witch washerwife, and telled her purpose. The old wife bade her stay that day, and gang and look out o' her back door, and see what she could see. She saw knocked the first day. The second day she did the same, and saw knocked. On the third day she looked again, and saw a coach and 6 coming along the road. She ran in and telled the old wife what she saw. "Aweel," quo the old wife, "yon's for you." Say they took her into the coach, and galloped aff. The second doctor next says to her mither, "Mither, bake me a bannock and roast me a collop, for I'm gone hour to seek my fortune." Her mither did say, and hour she garred to the old wife, as her sister had dune. On the third day she looked out o' the back door, and saw a coach and 4 coming along the road. "Aweel," quo the old wife, "yon's for you." Say they took her in, and aff they set. The third doctor says to her mither, "Mither, bake me a bannock and roast me a collop, for I'm gone hour to seek my fortune." Her mither did say, and hour she garred to the old witch wife. She bade her look out o' her back door, and see what she could see. She did say, and when she came back said she saw knocked. The second day she did the same, and saw knocked. The third day she looked again, and on coming back said to the old wife, she saw knocked but a muckle black bull coming roaring along the road. "Aweel," quo the old wife, "yon's for you." On hearing this she was next to distracted by grief and terror, but she was lifted up and set on his back, and hour they went. Aye they travelled, and on they travelled, till the lady grew faint wi' hunger. "Eat out o' my right lug," says the black bull, "and drink out o' my left lug, and set by your leavings." Say she did as he said, and was wonderfully refreshed. And lang they garred, and sair they rade, till they came in sight o' a very big and bonny castle. "Yonder we maun be this night," quo the bull, "for my old brither lives yonder," and presently they were at the place. They lifted her aff his back, and took her in, and sent him away to a park for the night. In the morning, when they brought the bull hame, they took the lady into a fine shining parlour, and gave her a beautiful apple, telling her no to break it, till she was in the greatest strait ever mortal was in the world, and that wad bring her out. Again she was lifted on the bull's back, and after she had ridden far and fairer than I can tell, they came in sight o' a far bonnier castle, and far farther hour than the last. Says the bull till her, "Yonder we maun be the night, for my second brither lives yonder," and they were at the place directly. They lifted her down and took her in, and sent the bull to the field for the night. In the morning they took the lady into a fine and rich room, and gave her the finest pear she had ever seen, bidding her no to break it, till she was in the greatest strait ever mortal could be in, and that wad get her out o't. Again she was lifted and set on his back, and hour they went. And lang they garred, and sair they rade, till they came in sight o' the far biggest castle and far farthest aff they had yet seen. "We maun be yonder the night," says the bull, "for my young brither lives yonder," and they were there directly. They lifted her down, took her in, and sent the bull to the field for the night. In the morning they took her into a room, the finest of her, and gied her a plum, telling her no to break it, till she was in the greatest strait mortal could be in, and that wad get her out o't. Presently they brought hame the bull, set the lady on his back, and they went. And they garred, and on they rade, till they came to a dark and ugsome glen, where they stopped, and the lady lighted down. Says the bull to her, Here ye maun stay till I gang and fight the deal. Ye maun seat yoursel on that stane, and move neither hand nor fit till I come back, else I'll never find ye again. And if everything round about ye turns blue, he beated the deal, but should a things turn red, he conquered me. She set hersel down on the stane, and by around her turned blue. O come my joy, she lifted the air fit, and crossed it o'er the ether, say glad was she that her companion was victorious. The bull returned and sought for, but never could find her. Lang she sat, and she grat, till she wearied. At last she race and guard she kedna whaur till. On she wandered till she came to a great hill o' glass, that she tried as she could to climb, but wasna able. Round the bottom o' the hill she garred, sabbing and seeking a passage o'er, till at last she came to a smith's house, and the smith promised if she wad serve him 7 years he wad make her iron shoon, where she could climb o'er the glassy hill. At 7 years' end she got her iron shoon, clamb the glassy hill, and chanced to come to the old washerwife's habitation. There she was telled of a gallant young knight, that had given in some bluidy sarks to wash, and fever washed they sarks was to be his wife. The old wife had washed till she was tired, and then she set to her doctor and baith washed, and they better washed in hopes of getting the young knight, but they could do they couldna bring out a stain. At length they set the stranger damosel to walk, and whenever she began the stains came out pure and clean, but the old wife made the knight believe it was her doctor had washed the sarks. So the knight and the eldest doctor were to be married, and the stranger damosel was distracted at the thought of it, for she was deeply in love with him. So she bethought her of her apple, and breaking it, found it filled with gold and precious jewelry, the richest she had ever seen. All these, she said to the eldest doctor, I will give you on condition that you put off your marriage for ere day, and allow me to go into his room alone at night. So the lady consented, but meanwhile the old wife had prepared a sleeping drink, and given it to the knight, wha drank it, and never wakened till next morning. The lang night third damosel sabbed and sang. 7 lang years I served for thee. The glassy hill I clamb for thee. The bluidy shirt I rang for thee. And wilt thou no walken and turn to me? Next day she kent know what to do for grief. She then brak the pear and found it filled with jewelry, far richer than the contents o' the apple. With they jewels she bargained for permission to be a second night in the young knight's chamber, but the old wife gied him another sleeping drink, and he again sleep it till morning. A night she kept sighing and singing as before. 7 lang years I served for thee, Ansi. Still he sleep it, and she nearly lost hope o' the gither. But that day when he was out at the hunting, somebody asked him what noise and moaning was yon they heard all last night in his bedchamber. He said he heard only noise. But they assured him there was say, and he resolved to keep waking that night, to try what he could hear. That being the third night, and the damosel being between hope and despair, she brak her plum, and it held far the richest jewelry of the 3. She bargained as before, and the old wife, as before, took in the sleeping drink to the young knight's chamber, but he told her he couldna drink it that night without sweetening. And when she garred for some honey to sweeten it he poured out the drink, and made the old wife think he had drunk it. They went to bed again, and the damosel began, as before, singing. 7 lang years I served for thee. The glassy hill I clamb for thee. The bluidy shirt I rang for thee. And wilt thou no walken and turn to me? He heard and turned to her. And she told him that had befallen her, and he told her that had happened to him. And he caused the old washerwife and her doctor to be burned. And they were married, and he and she are living happy till this day for aught I can.